Ethan floated in the emptiness of space, his small shuttle drifting beside the hulking silhouette of a damaged alien freighter. The vast darkness stretched endlessly, stars blinking like distant eyes. His mission had been simple at first: deliver supplies to the nearby research station. Now it had become a fight for survival. The freighter's metal hull was scarred and cracked, evidence of some catastrophic collision. He could see smoke rising from vents along its side. He docked carefully, checking his suit's oxygen supply. The air was low, but enough to keep him alive for a while. With his toolkit strapped to his belt, Ethan pried open a side hatch. Inside, the ship was a labyrinth of broken corridors and flickering lights. Sparks rained down from exposed circuits. He moved cautiously, every step echoing in the silence. Something told him he was not alone. He found her in a sealed chamber, floating helplessly in a web of tangled restraints. Her skin had a faint bluish tint, and her eyes were large, glimmering with intelligence and caution. Ethan's first instinct was to help her immediately. He examined the restraints. They were part of an advanced security system that would have been impossible to unlock without the right tools or knowledge. He started with his portable analyzer, scanning the locking mechanism. The alien woman watched him silently, her arms crossed in the restraining field, her expression unreadable. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow and worked quickly. He could hear the ship's failing systems around him, warning of a potential collapse. Sparks flew dangerously close to the control panels, and smoke stung his eyes. He ignored it and focused on the lock. The alien's gaze never left him, intense and calculating, almost judging his every move. Finally, with a click and a faint hum, the restraints released. The woman floated free, her movements graceful as she adjusted to the lack of gravity. Ethan stepped back, expecting her to thank him, to speak some words of gratitude. Instead, she studied him quietly, her expression unreadable. Her voice, when it came, was calm and cool. "You should not have done that," she said. Her words were not angry, but not warm either. Ethan blinked. "I just wanted to help. You were trapped. I couldn't leave you like that." She tilted her head slightly, as if weighing his answer. "Humans are unpredictable. Most would have ignored this ship." The words stung a little. Ethan had expected at least a simple acknowledgement. He stepped closer, examining the chamber around them. "The ship is failing. We need to get out before it's too late. Can you help me?" She floated toward the control panel, her fingers brushing over alien symbols that glowed faintly. The ship responded to her touch, systems flickering to life for a moment. "I can control some systems, but not all," she said. "You are resourceful, human. I will observe your actions, but do not think gratitude will be exchanged freely." Ethan felt a mixture of frustration and fascination. He had dealt with difficult machines before, but never with someone like this. Her calm, measured presence was almost intimidating, yet there was a spark in her eyes that suggested curiosity. "Fair enough," he said. "We'll make a team, whether you like it or not." The alien woman's gaze softened slightly, though her posture remained alert. "We must move quickly. The life support systems are unstable. If we do not repair them, we will suffocate in hours." Ethan nodded, checking his own oxygen levels. He could see the challenge ahead. The corridors were damaged, wires hung like vines, and smoke still choked the air. He would have to use every skill he had to restore the ship and keep them alive. As they floated side by side, Ethan realized this was no ordinary rescue. The woman was unlike anyone he had met. Her presence was both a mystery and a challenge. He had saved her, but it seemed the cost of that help was a journey he had not yet begun to understand. Somewhere deep inside, Ethan felt a spark of excitement. This was more than survival now. It was a test of ingenuity, courage, and the human spirit against unknown alien technology. He took a deep breath, tightened his grip on his tools, and prepared to face the ship's secrets head-on. Ethan floated through the narrow corridor of the damaged freighter, toolkit in hand. Sparks still flew from exposed wires, and the air smelled faintly of ozone. Behind him, the alien woman, Kayla, followed silently, her movements graceful and precise. He tried to gauge her thoughts, but her expression remained calm and unreadable. She spoke only when necessary, her voice controlled and measured. Most humans would panic in a situation like this, Kayla said, breaking the silence. Her eyes glowed faintly under the dim lights. You are calm, but that does not mean you understand what this ship contains. Ethan glanced at her, intrigued. Then maybe you should explain it to me. I can't fix something I don't understand. She floated closer to the ship's control panel, her fingers tracing alien symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. This vessel is not ordinary. It carries technology my people consider extremely dangerous. If it falls into the wrong hands, the consequences would be severe. Ethan nodded slowly. He had suspected the cargo was valuable, but he had no idea how important it truly was. Then we have to make sure it stays safe. Together. Kayla studied him for a moment, then finally spoke. Together is a strong word. Humans are unpredictable. Most cannot be trusted. But for now, we must cooperate. Your survival skills are useful. Ethan felt a mixture of relief and frustration. She still did not show gratitude, yet she acknowledged his abilities. Fine. I don't need thanks. I just need to know we both get out alive. The corridors ahead were blocked by twisted metal and broken machinery. Ethan began working, cutting wires and prying panels loose, while Kayla assisted by using her knowledge of the ship's systems. She guided him to essential circuits, explaining which parts were dangerous to touch and which could be manipulated safely. As they worked, Ethan noticed Kayla observing him more closely than before. It was not suspicion this time but curiosity. You move differently than I expected, she said. You adapt quickly, even when the environment is hostile. Ethan smiled faintly. Adaptation is what humans do. We don't give up easily. Especially when others are depending on us. Kayla's gaze lingered on him for a moment, then she turned her attention back to the control panel. Your determination is unusual among your kind. Most humans would not risk themselves for another. Perhaps you are different. Ethan paused, surprised. He had never thought of himself as remarkable. Maybe I just know how it feels to need help, he said quietly. She did not respond immediately. Instead, she activated a small holographic display, showing sections of the ship that were still operational and those at risk of failure. If we continue at this pace, the life support systems will stabilize temporarily. But the main engine is severely damaged. It will take more ingenuity than you have demonstrated so far. Ethan rolled up his sleeves. Then I'll have to do my best. I've faced worse machines before. This ship may be alien, but it's still predictable if you understand the patterns. Kayla's eyes widened slightly, impressed. Predictable, yes, but unpredictable in your methods. That may be why you survive while others do not. As they moved deeper into the ship, an alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed, and the hum of the engines faltered. Ethan's heart raced. "What happened?" he asked. Kayla's hands danced across the control panel. "A minor system failure. Nothing catastrophic, but it will slow our progress. Humans react too quickly sometimes. Control your speed, or you may cause more damage." Ethan took a deep breath and adjusted his movements, careful not to trigger more alarms. Kayla floated beside him, silent for a few moments, then said, "We make a strange alliance, human. Neither fully trusting the other, yet both relying on each other. Perhaps this will be enough to survive." Ethan glanced at her, a small smile forming. "I'll take that. It's better than being alone out here." For the first time, Kayla's expression softened just a little. She did not smile, but there was a hint of approval. Ethan felt a spark of hope. Despite their differences, despite her caution, they were beginning to function as a team. As they continued repairing the ship, Ethan realized that survival was not the only challenge ahead. He would have to earn Kayla's trust and prove that human ingenuity could match alien technology. That thought filled him with determination. The real journey had only just begun. Ethan carefully moved through the ship's main corridor, his toolkit swinging at his side. The freighter had a strange hum, almost like it was alive, and every step echoed across metal walls scarred from previous impacts. Kayla floated just behind him, her eyes scanning the shadows for anything out of place. She no longer spoke often, but her presence was constant, a reminder that they were not alone in this silent, damaged vessel. Ethan paused near a console partially hidden behind a fallen panel. "There might be something here," he said quietly, more to himself than to Kayla. He carefully removed the panel, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, he found a small data crystal, glowing faintly. Curious, he connected it to his portable reader. The screen flickered to life, displaying logs in a language he did not understand at first. But the reader had translation functions. Slowly, words formed. The logs detailed Kayla's mission and the freighter's purpose. Ethan's eyes widened as he read. This was not a simple transport ship. It carried technology that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Weapons, energy sources, and advanced research materials were all aboard. Kayla suddenly appeared behind him. "You were not supposed to see that," she said calmly, her arms crossed. Ethan turned to her, startled but not afraid. "I wasn't snooping," he said quickly. "I found it while trying to understand the systems. I just wanted to know what we're dealing with." Her eyes narrowed slightly. Most humans would have ignored it completely or destroyed it out of fear. You, however, seem curious. Dangerous curiosity. Ethan swallowed, realizing the weight of what he had uncovered. "I didn't mean to be dangerous. I just want to help keep this ship and you safe." Kayla's expression softened, though her gaze remained sharp. "Your intentions are human and predictable. But your understanding is limited. This cargo is not ordinary. If enemies discover it, the results would be catastrophic. Your kind cannot grasp the full consequences." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then we need a plan. I can help you protect it. I've dealt with dangerous machines before. Humans are creative when it matters." Kayla floated closer, studying him closely. "You are bold to suggest that. Most of my kind would never allow a human to handle these systems. Yet your actions have already affected the ship's survival. Perhaps your species is not entirely as expected." Ethan smiled faintly. "I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Now, Can you show me which systems are most critical? She nodded and led him through a series of secure passages. The corridors were tighter here, more damaged, and the ship groaned as if it was aware of their intrusion. Ethan followed, careful not to trip over exposed cables or fall through unstable sections. He noticed that Kayla moved with precision, as if she knew exactly where every danger lay. This area is the core section, she explained. It houses the navigation system and some experimental energy units. One wrong touch could trigger catastrophic failure. Your species relies on intuition. I will guide you, but the work must be done by you. Ethan took a deep breath. Understood. Let's get to it. Hours passed as they worked together. Ethan applied human ingenuity, combining simple tools with clever tricks to stabilize circuits and restore partial power. Kayla guided him with precision, pointing out sensitive areas and predicting the ship's responses. For the first time, Ethan realized that despite their differences, they were a team. When a minor alarm sounded, Ethan quickly adjusted a relay he had repaired. The lights steadied, and the hum of the freighter returned to a steady rhythm. Kayla glanced at him, her expression unreadable. You are more capable than I assumed. Perhaps I misjudged humans. Ethan shrugged, wiping sweat from his brow. I'm just doing what I can. The ship matters. You matter. I want both to survive. Kayla's gaze softened just slightly. Your spirit is unusual. Most humans would have given up long ago. I did not expect determination to look like this. Ethan smiled faintly, feeling a small spark of pride. Despite the alien technology, despite the unknown dangers, he knew one thing: humans could never be underestimated. And for Kayla, that realization had only just begun. Ethan moved carefully through the freighter's damaged engine room. Sparks flew from exposed circuits, and the metallic floor groaned under his weight. The air smelled faintly of burned wires. Kayla followed silently, her eyes sharp and alert. She floated effortlessly, her movements smooth, as if she were part of the ship itself. Most humans would never attempt repairs in a section like this, Kayla said, her voice calm but firm. You risk more than survival here. One wrong step could sever the power supply to the entire ship. Ethan paused to wipe sweat from his forehead. I've faced worse machinery than this. It's complicated, yes, but nothing I can't handle. He carefully examined a broken power conduit that stretched across the floor like a metal snake. Kayla watched him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Your confidence is unusual. My species often considers humans reckless. Ethan chuckled softly. Maybe we are, sometimes. But we also find ways to survive. That counts for something, doesn't it? Kayla tilted her head, a subtle sign of curiosity. It does. Your determination is noteworthy. Most of my kind would not attempt to navigate these hazards without advanced protective systems. Ethan knelt to secure a loose panel. Sparks danced around him, but he worked with precision, connecting wires and adjusting circuits. Kayla assisted by guiding his hands to critical components, explaining which systems were fragile and which could be manipulated safely. You move with a purpose, she said, observing his every action. It is not panic but focus. Humans rarely exhibit such control under stress. Ethan smiled faintly. Focus is what keeps you alive. Panic gets you killed. Simple rule, even for aliens, I suppose. As they worked, the freighter trembled. A series of minor explosions echoed through the corridors. Ethan's heart raced. That doesn't sound good, he muttered. Kayla moved closer to the control panel, her hands dancing across alien symbols. It is a structural failure in the secondary systems. If we do not stabilize it, the entire engine room could collapse. Ethan took a deep breath. Then let's stabilize it. He adjusted wires and rerouted power using a combination of human improvisation and Kayla's guidance. The hum of the ship began to even out, though the room remained tense with danger. For the first time, Kayla allowed herself a small smile, though it was fleeting. You are persistent. Most humans would have retreated long before this point. Ethan glanced at her. I'm not most humans. I don't give up easily. Especially when someone else's life depends on it. Her gaze lingered on him, a mixture of curiosity and respect. You are unusual. Your species' reputation for recklessness does not fully apply to you. Perhaps humans are more capable than we imagined. Suddenly, a panel above Ethan's head gave way, sending sparks cascading downward. He ducked just in time, and Kayla quickly stabilized the failing conduit with a precise gesture. Careful, she warned. One misstep now could cause serious injury. Ethan straightened, adjusting his toolkit. I can handle it. I've survived worse. Together, they moved deeper into the engine room, navigating unstable platforms and dodging damaged machinery. The danger forced them to rely on each other completely. Ethan's ingenuity and Kayla's knowledge formed a unique combination that neither could have achieved alone. Hours passed as they worked tirelessly. The freighter's system slowly responded to their combined effort. Ethan realized something he hadn't expected. Despite her cautious demeanor, Kayla began to trust his judgment. And for her, trust was not given lightly. Finally, the hum of the engine stabilized. The lights brightened slightly, and the air pressure evened out. Ethan leaned back against a support beam, exhausted but satisfied. Kayla floated beside him, her expression calm and almost approving. You have done well, she said quietly. I did not expect a human to succeed here. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. Thanks. But we're not done yet. The ship is still damaged, and we need to make sure it's safe before anything else happens. Kayla studied him, her eyes reflecting the faint glow of the repaired systems. Perhaps humans are more capable than my people believed. Your spirit is different. It may be dangerous to underestimate you. Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of pride. Despite the alien technology, despite the danger, he knew that his human ingenuity and determination had made a difference. Together, they had survived what most would have considered impossible. And in that moment, he realized that surviving the ship was only the beginning. The real challenge, the one that would test both their abilities and their trust, was still ahead. Ethan and Kayla floated through the main corridor of the freighter, their movements careful and synchronized. The ship's systems were partially stabilized, but the core engine still required major repairs. Sparks danced along the walls, and the hum of the ship was uneven, like a heartbeat struggling to find its rhythm. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped rapidly. Red lights flashed along the walls, warning of incoming threats. Ethan frowned. What is it? He asked. Kayla's eyes narrowed. Pirates. They have detected our presence. They are moving to board the freighter. If they reach the core, everything is lost. Ethan's heart raced. He had faced dangerous machines and environmental hazards before, but real enemies added a new level of danger. Then we need a plan. How do we stop them? Kayla considered him for a moment. Most would flee. I prefer a different approach. The freighter itself can be a weapon if used correctly. But I will require your ingenuity, human. Ethan smiled faintly. You got it? Let's see what we can do. They moved quickly through the ship, activating emergency systems and rerouting power to defensive mechanisms. Ethan studied the freighter's structure, noticing areas where he could create obstacles or traps using simple tools and his knowledge of engineering. Kayla guided him, pointing out sensitive sections of the ship and giving precise instructions. This way, she said, leading him to a narrow corridor that connected to the main docking bay. We can channel their approach here. It will limit their numbers and give us an advantage. Ethan nodded. Good thinking. I'll reinforce the doors and set up temporary barriers. With careful precision, Ethan used spare panels and wiring to strengthen the corridors. He improvised alarms and trip sensors that would alert them if the pirates advanced. Kayla assisted, manipulating the ship's systems to enhance his setups. It was a combination of human creativity and alien technology that neither could achieve alone. As the first intruders attempted to board, Ethan held his breath. The alarms blared, flashing red lights guiding them into the prepared traps. Panels swung into place, blocking passages, while wires delivered harmless but disorienting electric shocks to slow the invaders. Kayla's control of the ship's systems added another layer of defense, keeping the pirates off balance. Ethan moved through the corridor, adjusting panels and rerouting power in real time. He marveled at how his human adaptability complemented Kayla's precision. They're not going to expect this, he said quietly. Kayla's eyes glimmered with approval. You think quickly. Most of my kind would hesitate. Your species' unpredictability is an advantage here. The pirates struggled against the combined defenses. Ethan watched as they became frustrated, unsure of how to progress. Every action he took, every adjustment he made, gave Kayla and him a stronger position. Hours passed, and slowly, the boarding attempt failed. The intruders retreated, unable to bypass the traps and obstacles. The freighter's systems stabilized further, humming with renewed energy. Ethan leaned against a support beam, exhausted but exhilarated. Kayla floated beside him, her expression calm but her eyes reflecting admiration. You have proven yourself, human. Your ingenuity and determination have saved this ship and preserved its cargo. I underestimated your species. Ethan smiled faintly. I just did what humans do. We don't give up. We find solutions, no matter the odds. Kayla's gaze lingered on him, thoughtful. Perhaps there is more to humans than my people have been told. You are capable of far more than expected. Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of pride. He had faced alien technology, dangerous conditions, and now real enemies and survived. His human creativity, combined with Kayla's knowledge, had turned a dire situation into a victory. For the first time, Kayla allowed herself a small, genuine smile. Your spirit is unusual, human. It may be dangerous to underestimate you again. Ethan looked around the repaired corridor, listening to the steady hum of the freighter. He realized that surviving was only the beginning. The ship, the technology it carried, and Kayla herself presented new challenges ahead. But he felt ready. Humans could face any obstacle with courage and intelligence, and he intended to prove it. Ethan and Kayla floated through the freighter's lower decks, the air thick with tension. The pirate threat had been repelled, but the ship still groaned under the damage it had sustained. Sparks flew from exposed conduits, and the hum of the engines was uneven. Every step felt like a test of endurance and focus. Kayla moved beside him, her gaze sharp and alert. The main reactor is still unstable, she said. If it fails, the entire freighter will collapse. We must stabilize it before attempting full repairs. Ethan studied the panels ahead. Wires were severed, and some conduits emitted faint electrical arcs. "I've faced worse," he said quietly. "We'll fix it. Just tell me what's critical." Kayla guided him to the core section. "The reactor responds to energy input in patterns. Miscalculate, and it could overload. We must work together, human. Your creativity and my knowledge are the only way to save this ship." Ethan nodded, gripping his tools tightly. "Then let's get to work." They moved through the unstable corridors, dodging sparks and debris. Ethan rigged temporary supports with scraps of metal, reinforcing weak sections of the floor and walls. Kalo manipulated the ship's control panels with precision, adjusting power flows to critical areas while warning Ethan of potential hazards. "You act with speed and precision," Kayla observed. "Most humans would panic in this environment. Your species' adaptability is remarkable." Ethan smiled faintly. "Adaptability keeps us alive. And it seems it's saving this ship too." As they reached the reactor chamber, the situation worsened. Smoke filled the room, and a low hum escalated into a dangerous vibration. Ethan quickly examined the main conduits. One of them was close to exploding, threatening to destroy the entire section. He realized that normal repair methods would not work. Improvisation was the only option. Kayla's eyes widened slightly as she watched him. "Your solution will require ingenuity. Most of my kind would have avoided this risk." Ethan worked quickly, rerouting power through an auxiliary line he had rigged with spare components. Sparks flew, and the conduit hissed under the strain, but he held it steady. Kayla adjusted the energy flow from the control panel, stabilizing the reactor's response. "Hold it," she instructed. "If the power spikes again, it will overload." Ethan gritted his teeth, applying pressure and making small adjustments in real time. Sweat dripped from his forehead, but he did not falter. The freighter's hum began to stabilize, and the vibration slowed. Finally, with one precise adjustment, the reactor's systems returned to normal. The smoke dissipated, and the hum became steady and strong. Ethan leaned back against a support beam, exhausted but triumphant. Kayla floated beside him, her expression calm but her eyes reflecting admiration. "You have proven yourself, human. Your ingenuity and courage have saved this freighter from certain destruction. I underestimated your species." Ethan wiped his brow. "I just do what humans do. We face challenges, think fast, and never give up. That's what keeps us alive." Kayla studied him for a moment. "Your determination is unusual. Most humans would have given up long ago. Your species has strength beyond what my people believed." Ethan glanced around the chamber, observing the stabilized systems and the faint glow of the repaired reactor. "This is just the beginning," he said. "There's still more to fix, more to understand. But at least we survived this test." Kayla nodded slowly, a hint of approval in her eyes. "You are not just a survivor, human. You are a protector. That is a rare quality among any species." Ethan felt a surge of pride. He had faced alien technology, deadly hazards, and real enemies, and he had prevailed. More than that, he had gained Kayla's respect, a trust not freely given by her kind. For the first time, a subtle warmth appeared in Kayla's expression. It was not gratitude, not exactly, but recognition. Ethan understood that their journey together was far from over, yet he had already proven that human ingenuity and determination could match any challenge, even in the far reaches of space. The freighter was safe for now, but Ethan knew bigger trials awaited. And with Kayla by his side, he felt ready for anything. Ethan floated in the freighter's control room, watching as the repaired systems hummed steadily. The danger of structural collapse was gone, the engines were stable, and the ship's life support systems operated at full capacity. For the first time since arriving on this alien vessel, he allowed himself a moment to breathe. Kayla hovered beside him, her expression calm but her eyes thoughtful. "You have proven yourself beyond my expectations, human," she said quietly. "You have faced every challenge this ship presented and succeeded where most would have failed." Ethan glanced at her, unsure if he should respond. "I just did what I had to do," he said. "I wanted to survive, and I wanted to make sure the ship and you were safe." Kayla's gaze softened slightly. "You understand more than most. Humans have a persistence that is unusual in the galaxy. Most of my kind would never take such risks for another being." Ethan felt a spark of pride but also a shadow of uncertainty. "So, what now?" he asked. "The ship is fixed, the pirates are gone, and the systems are stable. Can I leave?" Kayla's eyes glimmered, and her voice carried a quiet firmness. "That is not your choice alone. The bond we have formed through this ship's survival is not easily broken. You will remain aboard, not as a prisoner, but as a participant in its journey. I cannot allow this knowledge or technology to leave unprotected, and your skills are too valuable to risk." Ethan paused, processing her words. He realized she was not threatening him, but making a statement of trust and reliance. She did not need to bind him by force, she simply believed he belonged here. "You mean I'm staying?" he asked slowly. "Yes," Kayla replied. "By staying, you accept the responsibility of this freighter and its cargo. You also accept the responsibility of our partnership. Humans are strong, creative, and capable. That is why I choose to trust you." Ethan considered her words. He could have escaped at the first opportunity, but he realized that his journey on this ship had become more than survival. He had proven the human spirit could overcome alien technology and danger. And for Kayla, he was no longer just a stranger, he was an ally, a companion in a mission that mattered across the galaxy. "I accept," he said finally. "Not because I have to, but because I want to. This ship, this mission, it's part of what I am now. I won't let it fail." Kayla studied him for a long moment, her calm gaze meeting his determination. "Then we are partners, human. Not by chance, but by choice. That is a bond my people respect, and one I will honor." Ethan smiled, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. He had expected danger, challenges, and uncertainty, but he had also found purpose and respect. The ship, once a vessel of peril, now represented opportunity, trust, and the remarkable possibilities of cooperation between species. The freighter began to shift, engines slowly powering up for the next journey. Ethan and Kayla moved to the observation deck, watching the stars stretch into lines as the ship accelerated. The galaxy opened before them, vast and full of unknown challenges, yet Ethan felt confident. "Humans can face anything," he said quietly, more to himself than to Kayla. Kayla turned her head slightly, a hint of admiration in her gaze. "And you have proven it. Your determination, ingenuity, and spirit are not easily forgotten. You have changed my perception of your species entirely." Ethan looked at the stars, the endless expanse of space filled with possibilities. He realized that being aboard the freighter was not a limitation, it was an opportunity. Together, he and Kayla would face unknown dangers, protect the ship's secrets, and discover the limits of human creativity and courage. For the first time in days, Ethan felt completely at peace. He had survived impossible odds, earned the respect of an alien far beyond his understanding, and found purpose that stretched across the stars. Kayla's voice broke the quiet, calm, and confident. "We begin a new journey together, human. Your place is here. Your spirit has proven it." Ethan nodded, feeling the truth of her words. He looked out into the galaxy, knowing that humans could overcome any challenge with determination, intelligence, and courage. And for Kayla, he would be ready for whatever came next. The freighter glided forward into the unknown, carrying two unlikely allies, one human, one alien, bound together by trust, challenge, and the indomitable power of the human spirit.